The Joe Rogan Experience.
And then you fought Conor when you were like, what were you, 20 or 21?
I think I was 21 21. I think he's 23 or whatever. I think he's 2 or 3 years older than me. 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I think if he was 24, then I was 22 or something, 21.
So that was your last loss, and then you went on a crazy streak.
Yeah.
You went on a crazy winning streak.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy, you know, like when you see like Conor doing stuff, like I'm a big believer in things happen for a reason, you know. Before that, we had I actually remember talking to you after my first one was Bermudez, when I fought Bermudez.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a tough fight. I remember I ran into you at where we fought, MGM. And you was leaving. You was going back home to LA or wherever you was going, and I saw you at the elevators, and he was like, "Oh, keep your head up, kid." So I thought you did enough, and I was like, "Yeah, it is what it is." He's like, "Yeah, you be back though for sure." And then after that, we fought Conor, and then those two fights really meant a lot at that time in my career, because it just made me like realize like how much I really gotta buckle down. I really had to do something. I really had to find something. I didn't have a striking coach until
Really?
I had my first coach that I started with, like when I got into the UFC, was no longer, and I'm with I ended up doing jiu-jitsu with Rylan Lazarez, the coach I'm with now. He's been ever since UFC, a little bit before my UFC fights too. And then I never had a striking coach for Dustin. Then we went on 4, and then we went on 2. So whatever the 1, 5, 6, 7. My first 7 fights in the UFC.
So what did you do for striking?
You really want to know what I did?
Yeah.
You know the UFC game? I would use Renan Barral and Jose Aldo, and I would do stuff with them. I'd be like, oh yeah, this works in the game. So my friend at the time, Dustin Kimura, he would kind of hold mitts for me, and I'd be like, look, I tried this in the game and it was working. Let's try it. And we did it. I figured it out from freaking UFC, the regular UFC game, the first ever UFC game.
What?
Yeah, with Renan Barral.
You would watch the video game.
I would play the video game and be like, oh, look at this. I would try combination. I'd be like, oh yeah, this kind of works. So let's try it. Why not? It got me that far.
That is so ridiculous. Wow. So then you realized you had to do something different after the Bermudez loss?
Not the Bermudez loss. Like the Bermudez loss, we was trying to find a striking coach and this and that. And then the Conor loss, we was like, yeah, we got to get this shit going. You know, my coach did, Rylan. Rylan was like, man, I'm gonna pull somebody in. And then he brought in the guy that I work with now, Ivan Flores, my striking coach, and
he lives on the island as well?
Yeah, he lives on the island. We all in one gym now. We're all together.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's like super easy now.
Well, it made a giant difference, obviously.
Humongous difference. So it's like big difference.
What does your brother say now?
Yeah.
Oh, that ha 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 ha. What does he say now? You're the greatest featherweight of all time. Yeah. What does he say now?
Nothing. You know,
he can't say shit.
Yeah, let go. Yeah.
Do you ever say, hey, man, you remember?
Yeah, I always, all the time. Yeah, I'm not going to let you forget that. Come on. I'm not going to let you forget that.
It's kind of hilarious, right?
It's funny.
Think about your younger brother telling you he's going to be a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
And he turns out to be one of the all-time greats. And you're mocking him. You're like, yeah, you're going to be a fighter, bro.
Yeah, he's
good
like,
luck.
Yeah, he said, this is exactly what he said. He said, yeah, good luck with that. He's like, you should start looking into colleges or some type of state job. And I was like, nah, you just watch. You just wait.
Wow. Talk about, like, calling it. But that's one of those things, like, someone tells it to you. Like, I'm going to be a UFC champion. Like, what are the odds?
Yeah, one of my friends, like Michael Nakagawa, like, he used to train with Alpha Male because he went to UC Davis. Like, he got picked up from Uriah Faber then because of UC Davis and stuff. And that's why he got
Is he a wrestler?
Yeah, he's a wrestler. Yeah, big time wrestler. And then I remember the first time wrestling, going with him. And I was in the UFC already, and I was in the UFC already, and Chad was one of the top guys, you know, and Aldo. And then I remember my friend told me, Dustin Kimura, like, oh yeah, he trained with Alpha Male then, blah blah. I walk up straight to him, I shake his hand, I told him, you know, I'll whoop Chad Mendes' ass, right? And then he was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, I'd probably whoop Chad Mendes' ass. And he's like, okay. And this is after he just taking my ass down like 100 times in practice. You know what I mean? Like he like or right before he did that, and then we practiced and he took me down like 100 times in practice. You know, I don't know wrestling too good. And then I still told him, like, I'll still whoop Chad Mendes' ass. I'm gonna beat him. Like this is how life goes. You know, I was like, I'm gonna beat Jose Aldo. I'm gonna be the champ. I was like, these guys they're not gonna touch me. And then you can ask him about the story, and he always told me, like, when it actually happened, he finally told me, he's like, yeah, Max, I was never gonna tell you, but I thought you was fucking insane when he was talking like that. I was like, no, it's just a different confidence. You just gotta put it out in the world. You know, if you think you're gonna do something, go do it and go work hard. I wasn't scared of hard work.
You've always had this attitude, though. Do you know where you got it from?
I don't, like, my grandpa, you know, I guess it has to be from my grandpa. You know, my grandpa, he'd probably be mad. You know, he passed away when I was 8th grade. But he'd probably be mad that I'm a fighter because he didn't want us. He's an electrician, so he just wanted us to get a good job, a great job, family, a house, and all that stuff. But it's just him, hard work, you know. Like, I remember coming home from practices or school. Before you go out, we had to do all the chores, whatever. Every Saturday, Sunday, we wake up at 6 o'clock. He had breakfast made for us, and we'd go out, clean the yard before we could go do anything else. And he just had structure, you know, and hard work. And he's like, if you want to, we had to pull weeds. And he was just one of those guys that would find work out of nothing. Like, we'd be doing one thing, we'd be done, and it'd be done ahead of schedule. He's like, okay, perfect. I need you guys to do this. It's like, no, this is not it. You know, we couldn't say nothing, but we get our ass beat if we did. But yeah, I think it was just my grandpa, you know, like, and it was just like sacrifices. Like in high school, what I did when I was playing baseball and stuff, like I gave up all my my recess and my lunches. Or my lunch, we had 30-minute lunch and 15-minute recess, like to do my homework. Cause all I wanted to do was be an MLB player. So when I went out to practice right after baseball, right after school is finished, I remember just going on the field and not thinking about going home. I gotta do homework or I gotta do a project. A lot of teachers would help me out in school and that stuff and this and that. That's how I got cum laude. Like, I'm not the smartest kid. Like, I figured out, I hacked a lot of things going to getting in life. I hacked a lot of things. Like, one of the things in school, I realized that you sit by one of the smartest kids. I used to sit by the smartest kids. Every time I was in class, I'd sit by the smartest kid, ask them for help. They'd help me willingly. Like, okay, yeah, help me. And if I really got stuck, they'd be like, give me that. Take my work, do my work for me. I'm like, oh, really? Perfect. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. And I just had to get like C's on top of my tests to get the grades, and I was doing good. Wow. You know, boy was in the money. So it's just about hacking life, I guess.